Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be working on this 2002 Ford F350. It's a 5.4 truck, 2 valve, 1 ton. And I was pulling with it there the other day and the front brake caliper's locked up. So I went ahead and purchased an entire Powerstop kit for this. I love Powerstop brakes. They are phenomenally better. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to do it a little bit different this video, and you guys have to let me know how you like it. All right guys, got my 21 that fit these lugs the best, so we're going to go ahead and take its impact and get them knocked off. All right, so you can see with the wheel off, this looks like it does have a relatively new caliper on it, so that's kind of strange, but this is the side that was locking up on me. Now, you can see pads look fairly good on it, but something is seizing up. So now what we got to do is, I got new lines too, because this looks kind of crusty. I thought, this might have collapsed on it too. So we're going to go get some of that PB or some of that seafoam that I use and just spray these joints down and spray all this stuff down. I'll do that off camera and get the tools we need. All right guys, I got everything sprayed down. Get you set up here. So this 17 millimeter, we're going to go ahead and that's what's going to take these back bolts off. So get you there. That's going to be these two guys. And that's going to let this whole caliper with the bracket come off. So before I do that though, I want to go ahead and just break this banjo bolt loose. So in order to do that, we're going to use the, it's a 14 millimeter. And like I said, I'm just going to break it loose first. And then I'm going to go ahead and get these broke loose. So then I've got the minimal amount of time for the fluid's going to be leaking out. I'll hang it up top here just to try to keep as much fluid from getting everywhere. But let's get started. All right guys, so you can see I got the caliper off there, just those two bolts. And you can see these are brand new, but this thing was locked up tight. See my line's still dripping a little bit, but it is what it is. So next thing we gotta do is get this caliper off. So he's gonna take his 21, the same one we used to get the wheels off, to get this bracket off. Now once we got this bracket off, then we should be able to just slide this rotor off. And really, we should be pretty good for getting the assembly back in. All right guys, so as that compressor's building up, because I'm going to descale all this, you've seen in that I had cut that vacuum plate off. I don't have a new one to replace it at this time, but I will go back and get it eventually, because that helps protect to keep rocks and sticks and just a lot of things out of your calipers and your rotors. But I need to get the truck on the road. I don't have that yet, but I am just gonna go take my needler, this guy right here, and I'm gonna descale that. But I gotta let my compressor get built up. So in the meantime, I went back here and here's the new brake caliper and the brake bracket. You can see how beautiful they are. So what happens is when you get this kit, they send you more hardware than what you need. So I went ahead and opened this kit, which that comes with the brake pads. And I went ahead and just took, and this will slide on there. But for the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're going to put these brackets in and go ahead and get this caliper preloaded with the brake pads. Now, you'll see on the old one, there's how your clips go, which is obviously, those are holding your brake pad in. So we're going to get this all set up, and then we'll apply the grease it shows you a little diagram. We'll apply it to the sliders, and we'll apply it to the pad. And these are already greased, but we'll put a little bit more on them, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, you seen in that time-lapse video where I basically had to take these off and get that caliper off so I could load this bracket correctly. So as you've seen in it, these guys here, they go on the inside, so they'll go and hold that apart. They keep these spread apart. Now you see I took that bracket off, I loaded it, I put the grease in on both sides. I just put it in with my finger, clean my hands, got these calipers go in. Now to get these or these pads to go into the bracket and the caliper, you have these little springs right here. So obviously you're gonna have to press them down. So always, what I've found good practice to do is when they're in there, you just start the corner down, grab that lip, and then you can tilt it back. So in this one, for instance, it would go this way. So you can start that corner in, and you see it'll slide in. So start the corner, get it to go down, slip in, just like so. Now with that loaded up, I've been descaling over here. So let's the next thing we need to do actually is, there's some, they gave extra of those too that we won't need, but check out that rotor. Drilled and slotted madness. Way better than that thing. So now let's grab this guy, slap it on, and then we'll go ahead and get that guy tilted up and get those bolts started in, and then I'll get you those torques on everything. Alright guys, so I bent that bracket down a little bit so I could get back in there to see the line. I had enough flexibility in my line so I'm not bending it. But to get on it, you're looking at a 7/16. So I've got a 7/16 line wrench on it. Now as you can see, the bracket's all rusty and broke free. So to hold the line, I've got a 5/8. So now what I gotta do is get this line out of this old hose, and then we're going to go in behind the frame here and see what size that bolt is. Alright guys, so there it's off. It was a 8mm bolt that was up here on the back that was holding this in. Now you can see rust had got to it and broke it away, which was actually a godsend because this wasn't wanting to turn on the line. So I was this flare nut wasn't wanting to turn on the line, so it had the possibility of bending it. So I just had to take my time working back and forth and ended up backing the hose off. So good practice to remove it from the frame first, just in case yours is in the same instance. So now I got that nut pretty well broke free, and I'm gonna go grab that new hose and get it on. All right, guys, so I didn't get to show you putting that banjo bolt in because I had to run to the parts store and get some new ones. So right there's your part number for them. This kit didn't come with it, surprisingly, and I just couldn't bring myself to put an old crusty bolt in this brand new setup. But that line's in and tightened down, and a new bracket looking all nice. Then the next thing here, went ahead and connected the vacuum line. Now the only thing is go down through here and separate these to hold all these lines together. So just a little bit of work on those, and then we'll throw this tire on, and then we'll be ready to tackle the back tomorrow. All right, guys, I got this rear tire off. So the next thing I did is I went ahead and got everything rounded up. So it's gonna be an 18 millimeter for the caliper bolts, 14 millimeter, for the 18 millimeter for the bracket, 14 millimeter for the caliper, and 14 millimeter for the hose. I don't have the new hoses for this. These didn't, when I originally looked, didn't look too bad, but they're kind of crusty. But we're gonna go with it. What I'm gonna do, the same thing again, is I'm actually gonna take his caliper off first and hang it up here on the side. I'm trying not to get fluid everywhere, and take his bracket off, and then we'll move up top and get the new ones loaded. All right, guys, so you see me struggling on this one, trying to get that off. I spread the brake pads apart to try to get it to come off that rotor, but I had you can see his pistons broke all to pieces. It was actually seized to the back of the pad. So this caliper is definitely in some bad shape. But you seen I went ahead and descaled everything. I gave it a good round. That dust shield's rusted, but not to the point to where it's falling off like the front one was. So we're gonna leave it. Then you see I came up here and loaded this caliper. I just used this old one for reference, make sure everything looked the same because it was functioning. So now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead and we'll go grab those a rotor, throw it on there, and just reverse this process and put everything on. All right, guys, got everything on there. Went together nicely. I didn't have to adjust the emergency brakes because they were spot on. They were barely grabbing as I slid that on. So that's what you want. I was able to get the hose on there with the new rotors with minimal fluid loss, so that's good too. So now we just got to torque this bad boy. So these bracket bolts here, they're going to be 100 foot-pounds. These are going to be 27 foot-pounds. And then this is going to be 37 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that torque wrench and knock this out, vacuum up, and throw this wheel on. And then I'll probably just time-lapse it on that side, and we'll turn it around, and I'll time-lapse the front, and then we'll start bleeding them.
All right, guys. So caliper's on, the new rotor and this hose, the new vacuum line that came with it, up to the new bracket. Now you seen I struggled with that because I actually couldn't get the flare nut to spin without trying to bend the line. So I am going to have to replace these lines. The guy I bought the truck off of said that he'd already replaced them, but as you can see right there, see that compression union? That is no good for brake line. So I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to check first to make sure where this is going, but it's running right with the brake lines and it's got a compression union on it. So that's no good. You never put one of these compression unions on a brake line because that's not what they're made for and they're prone to failure. But I went and got all this tightened down. So now it's just a matter of bleeding it. So with an ABS system, we're going to start at that rear passenger, and then rear driver, then front passenger, and then finally front driver. But I'm not going to film that because it'd just be a lot of me telling my wife to pump and hold. I like that system the best. I've got the one-man bleeders and stuff, but something about it, I just like the old school.
So that's everything for this video. I'll get this thing in, and then there's that break-in period that's on the box that shows it for you. So I might do a little short on it just to show you what it's about. But that's everything for this. Tell me if you guys like this new time-lapse video of me working and searching for tools and all this stuff. But drop your comments below. Let me know. But until next time, let's keep building.